Hi there, how's it going? Live to Fly Endurance blog here. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm going to be down here in what I'm going to call, for the time being, our flight deck. This is where a lot of the experimenting, a lot of the training goes on. And so, what I want to talk about today is a good recovery tactic for the ever popular multi-sport training session known as the brick workout, right? Where you stack a run on top of a nice big bike session so that you're training that neuromuscular system and your comfort in really running off the bike. Alright? So I got my trusty partner down here, Stiletto. We went out on a nice, easy, fluid ride today. Alright, but half of it was in here on the trainer, just getting fired up, just getting really warm in the hips and the legs and the ankles, making sure things are moving in good alignment. That's really nice to do on the trainer sometimes. And then I just jumped right outside, did a couple race-specific intervals, and then came right in, threw the bike to the side, laced up the shoes, and just took a very light, very easy 10-minute brick run, right? And for those of you who know any triathletes, asking them to do a 10-minute run off the bike is like pulling teeth, instead of going and doing an hour. But sometimes that 10-minute really helps drive the adaptation of your body in positioning and posture and foot lightness, that I'll call it, or foot speed on the ground, and it just really makes you a better runner off the bike. And not every time has to be, like you're doing a half Ironman and going and running a half marathon. Just the little adaptations from time to time really help. But purpose of today is what I was actually thinking about on the bike. Oddly enough, this is the things I think about. But little math here. If I was riding for around 90 minutes and I held a consistent average, even though it probably fluctuates a little bit, of 90 RPMs, right? So 90 revolutions per minute. That would give me 1,800 revolutions in the session. Split in half, that's 900 revolutions per leg, right? That's 900 flexions and extensions in my ankle, right? That's 900 times where I'm actually stabilizing at my calf muscle, holding tight in that downward position, and then pulling up with some of the dorsiflexors on my shin, like the anterior tib, peroneal type muscles, right? It's a lot of work for that ankle, just on that 90-minute bike session, even if it's not all that intense. Add on to that an easy 10-minute run. If I'm saying that I'm holding around a stride rate of 85 to 90, which is pretty solid, there's another 900 actions in the ankle, split apart into 450 per ankle. That's a lot of work, right? Where my ankle is actually going from this plantar flexion into the air, a little bit of dorsiflexion and eccentric dorsiflexion as I hit the ground, which is a lot of pressure, and then another plantar flexion where that calf and the Achilles and the soleus really load up and work, right? There's no reason why we shouldn't be really focused on the proper recovery of those muscles after a big session like that. Even though the session was not super intense, we gotta think about the ankle, and we gotta think about those muscles that work the ankle. Alright? Taking a look here, one of the most common things that goes wrong with triathletes and endurance runners, and most runners in any case, is lower leg issues, right? Tension in the Achilles, tension in the plantar fascia, pain and soreness in the calf, the gastrocnemius, and the soleus underneath it, right? So one tactic that I've of course stolen from Kelly Starrett, amazing guy, and brilliant professional in the field, is using one of his great tools, which is called the Voodoo Band, this sucker right here, and a regular household lacrosse ball. This is like the $10 recovery kit that every athlete should really have. Alright? The key that I'm going to try and work on right now is getting just the pressure away from this area, because now all the blood, all the muscles are going to be rushing down here. I just did the session, not more than an hour ago. So everything is going to be going down here to help repair this tissue. It's going to cause a lot of pressure, and if I don't relieve some of that pressure and clear in some blood flow there, it's going to get stagnant. The muscle's not going to repair the way I want it to. Not to mention it's just going to really, really tighten up. And then I'm going to walk around all day and walk up a flight of stairs and be like, wow, that's really tense. So my tactic here is going to be using Kelly's voodoo band here. I'm going to just find that little area below where my calf muscle kind of protrudes. That's going to be where the soleus slides underneath that gastrocnemius, and that place really gets fused together, especially when it's all mushy and recovering. So I'm going to put this band and wrap it up around there, alright? That's going to just apply some pressure there and hopefully ease that muscle and that tendon below it a little bit, right? Wrap it up nice and tight. This is probably going to feel a little crazy at first. You're going to feel like your foot's going to fall off, it's going to go numb, but that's kind of to be expected, and in a sense that actually helps the flow of blood turn around and freshen up a little bit so you get some good fresh oxidized blood in there to help the muscle recover, alright? So once this is all set up, what I'm going to do is tuck that into there. And now, the fun part, alright? This is nice and tight. I feel that pressure in there. Taking this ball, I'm just going to place it right here under the arch of my foot, right? What I'm going to do now is stand up here and just start working that ball into the ball of my foot, alright? I'm going to crunch my toes around it and then open them up. Dig a little more into it and open it up. All the meantime, I'm really stretching out this posterior chain of my left ankle to my left knee to my left hip. I feel this actually going all the way up into my hamstring. Let me let you get a good look here. Alright. Roll around on this. What this ball is doing is it's really breaking up some of that fascial tissue that just turns into cement in the bottom of my foot. One interesting thing about fascial tissue is that when it impacts something, it goes semi-liquid, right? Kind of crazy to think about that, but if that happens again like 900 times, it's going to get kind of sloppy and mushed together, and then when it recovers, especially if it's a little dehydrated, it's going to be very, very tight and tense. That's only going to do more to put pressure and pull down on this muscle here, and that is something that would cause an issue like a tendonitis or a fasciitis, something that we really want to avoid, okay? Big stretch in, and then the last thing I'll do, keeping this band on, step forward, balls under my foot. You can really see that good flexion in my ankle there, and just really try to ease into that sucker. Pushing my hips forward, digging that ball deep in there. Really, you're going to feel it for sure, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Alright? Then I'm going to pick it up a little bit, roll my ankle around, and probably, if I was a good athlete, I would go and do a couple sets of that, maybe switch foot, and then come back, do another one with my left foot, do another one with my right, and at that point, I can unwrap this. You see the blood start to rush back into this foot a little bit. Nice loose ankle. Good here. Nice and loose there. Good movement here. Good flexion there. You can see it a little bit better. And I feel pretty free. Not too bad. Not too bad for, pretty close to 2 hours of work on my ankle there, and I want to be able to use this thing again. I want to be able to use it tomorrow, and this is a good way to make sure I can do that. Alright? Anyways, for now, keep watching, keep tuned in. I'm going to keep you guys healthy, keep your joints feeling good, and make sure that you can keep flying. All right? Take care.